I recently hit the funny sex number, so I figured I'd do something that'll make everyone, including YouTube, uncomfortable with me. So you've got access to magic, and you've understandably come to the same conclusion many other magic users have before you. Outsourced your weird, offensive sexual frustrations onto some kind of animate object of your own creation. Because charm person and love potions are rape. This is unironically the ethical solution. Do not at me. So, what are your options? What is there to consider? What exactly is the meaningful difference between an animated sex object and a waifu golem? Both lewd and non-lewd, because I want to make things weird. I mean, there's other options. Clones, homunculi, a simulacrum composed of over half a dozen of your most heinous fetishes, but we're just gonna stick to the toys. In terms of affordability and accessibility, the animated object is the obvious choice. Animating a single object, in 5th edition D&D at least, is a 3rd level transmutation spell, and the proper animated object spell, which allows you to have the loneliest orgy in the world by animating up to 10 objects, is a 5th level transmutation spell. No gold required, no components, just say the magic words, and with a snap of your fingers, anything you figure needs to have your dick in it, or should be inside you, will become animate. I am not your therapist, nor am I responsible for the health of your colon. So there is nothing stopping me from telling you the spell, as is, will work on objects as big as huge, which is up to 15 feet tall. Animated objects are limited by their simplicity. They lack any kind of independence and must be either manually controlled or given very simple instructions, accompanied with concise, achievable objectives. Nobody wants to be Mickey Mouse with the brooms and the buckets when their well is their own butt. A final detail people usually forget, though, is that an animated object's movement isn't limited by their physical form. They're fully capable of moving through 3D space unhindered, whether they have limbs or not. Animated objects can also move as realistically or as pragmatically as you'd like them to. Like if you want to awkwardly replicate lifelike movement on your real doll, or replicate some kind of horrifying Junshi Ito mannequin situation, that's totally up to you. Golems, on the other hand, are where things get complicated and expensive. Golems cost time, money, and resources to make. In 5th edition D&D, the minimum requirements to make even a piece of crap clay golem is 2 5th level spell slots, which is like a 10th level wizard for those keeping score at home, 65,000 gold pieces, and then you need to spend 30 days making the fucking thing. Honestly, with that much effort and money, you're better off picking up Warhammer as a hobby. Figures and paints would be marginally less expensive, and you'd still have a comparable sex life. That was really mean. Golems can also be made out of flesh, stone, and iron, though for the sake of the hypothetical, I would strongly not recommend you make them out of flesh, despite that seemingly being an obvious choice, because ethics, and for the same reason people don't taxidermy people when they die. We'll save it for another video, though. Spaghetti, I can't stress this enough. I am not interested in putting my pee-pee in a sex doll made out of metal. I don't care if it looks and moves exactly like Ivy from Soul Calibur 4. Okay, first of all, not crazy about your tone. Golems aren't rigid. Golems don't typically have any moving parts. They're just statues. Yet they become animate and can be capable of more complicated movements than simple articulation. It's all proportionate to how well they're sculpted in the first place. So if you sculpt a realistic golem with skin folds and such, it'll still retain that tactile feeling and physical quality in and out. Still really dense though. Still also really heavy too, so just be careful when you smash your pelvis into it, and don't let your golem 100% sit on your face, you little weirdo. The other main advantage golems have over animated object is golems can be given more complex vocal instructions and are capable of some level of very basic improvisation, provided you're careful with your wording and establish well-defined boundaries. Before I forget, I know what some of you must be thinking, Spaghetti, Could I hypothetically command my golem concubine to make me another golem and thus create what I would refer to as a harem assembly line? No. The process of sculpting the golem is part of the ritual. Arguably, it's the most important part. Oh, and before I forget, golems can't speak. That might be a deal breaker to some people. You might also be worrying about your golem wife going on a rampage and snapping your dick off between her ass cheeks, but there's only been, like, a one recorded historical instance of a golem rampaging, and it was the Golem of Prague in 16th century Czech Republic, and it was because it was an incel. Solomon ben Judah in the 11th century even made a waifu golem himself to do household chores, and it didn't fist him to death. You should be fine. It shouldn't be an issue. Don't worry about it.